All right, just talking about a couple of harmonic issues with the Ray 5-3 that was introduced into our universe here. And that is, first of all, this is the first time now that we've really had in our rule of the octave multiple possibilities for a given chord. So let's construct the rule of the octave as we know it so far in aural theory at least. And that is, of course, our do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And in aural theory, we started by putting 5-3 on our tetractys notes, do, fa, sol, and do. And then we put passing 6-3 chords on everything else. Technically, we recognize that the T could have that T 5-3 on it, but it's a fake 5-3. It's a dissonance because there's a diminished fifth on that. And we recognize that that wasn't a particularly common chord, and there were better ways of thinking about it. And we'll deal with it when we get into the T6-5 and talk about the dissonances in the dominant seventh in a harmonic context. But for now, we're just holding off. So far we've had this nice situation where if I hear a bass note, I know what the chord is on top of it. Well, today, of course, we introduced a new chord, and we introduced the Ray 5-3. Whoa! Now I've got two possible notes for a Ray. Is it a 5-3 or is it a 6-3? Fortunately, they're going to behave entirely differently. And the Ray 6-3 is a linear chord. It's a chord of motion. We don't like to skip to and from 6-3 chords if we can possibly help it, unless they're like inversion changes, like do 5-3 to mi 6-3. But the Ray 6-3 we are going to hear in this context. We're going to have heard the bass line go up do, re, mi, or we'll have heard it come down mi, re, do. The Ray 6-3 is used as a passing chord in between our do and our mi in the bass. Just like that. So if we hear our Ray 6-3 in the context of do, re, mi, or mi, re, do, that Ray was a passing chord. I wouldn't put a nice stable 5-3 on a passing chord. There's nothing stable about passing. And so we're going to use the 6-3, the chord of the motion, for that particular setting. Where am I going to hear a Ray 5-3? I'm going to hear a Ray 5-3 in the context of a tonic, plagal, authentic motion. Maybe back to tonic again. Which means I'm going to hear it in the context of like do 5-3, Ray 5-3, sol 5-3. That would be a great place to hear a Ray. Or I would hear it in the context of do 5-3, Ray 5-3. Do a different authentic, do the substitution from the sol to the T. And of course that would want to come back to the do. You would hear that coming back to the tonic at the end. We could stop here on a half cadence. Or we could, bring that sol to do back here for a perfect authentic cadence. We'll talk about, we did talk about cadences, yeah. So there's a cadence. And this, of course, down here, we would probably call a comma, that cantizan's cadence there. But you will hear very differently the bass line behaving. Do, re, mi, re, do, mi, sol, mi, do, re, fa, ti, fa, re, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, re, fa, ti, fa, re, do, mi, sol, mi, do. You'll hear it in that context of the passing chord. Versus, the little exercise of practice. Do, mi, sol, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re, sol, ti, re, ti, sol, do, mi, sol, mi, do, mi, sol, mi, do, re, fa, la, fa, re, ti, re, sol, re, ti, do, mi, sol, mi, do, re, ti, do, re, sol, do. You hear how strong the re is in those voices as we go tonic, plagal, authentic, tonic. And so you will always be able to hear the difference between a Ray 5-3 and a Ray 6-3 based on the context. Ray 6-3 will take place passing between do and mi. Ray 5-3 is going to resolve to an authentic area, either to the sol 5-3 or to the T6-3. And so you just have to remember those. Now, last thing, Roman numerals. Ray 6-3 is, of course, our 7 diminished 6 chord. We learned about that last time. Ray 5-3 is our 2 chord going to 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, or 2, 5, 6, 1. So that works very nicely. The second issue with re is that the notes re, fa, and la can be rearranged. And that is to say, let's take our re, fa, la. Let's switch things around a little bit. Let's move our re. I'm just going to move it up top. Now I've got the notes fa, la, and re. Fa to la is a third, fa to re is a sixth, which means now we have a fa 6-3. And in written theory, we actually introduced the fa 6-3 before we introduced the fa 5-3. These are really actually the same chord with slightly different colors. It's like saying the difference between, like navy blue or midnight blue. They're both blue. These are, both plagal chords. They behave exactly the same way. That fa wants to go to sol. It likes to go, from the plagal area to the authentic area. Behaves exactly the same way. In fact, these are both subcategories of an overriding chord, which we'll talk about when we get to seventh chords, called the fa 6-5-3. This is a fa 6-5-3 without a 5 in it. This is a fa 6-5-3 without a 6 in it. And so they're basically the same chord. And what you're going to want to listen for in this is the voice leading. As I go through my tonic, to my plagal, to my authentic, back to tonic. It's going to be the difference between our fa 5-3 upper third has a do in it. So do, do, ti. And I came back to tonic. It would go there. If it was a half cadence, we would stop on the T. Do, do, ti. If it happens that way, then you know that the do if you heard that do, do, ti, you know you heard a fa 5-3. The other voice leading that we tend to hear in melodies is do, re, ti. Or back to the do if we're not doing a half cadence. Do, re, ti, do. And we know that in discant cadences, the fa steps up to the sol. We like to have that sixth above. Re, drop down to the third, to the ti. It's just a nice voice leading motion. If you hear this one, you know that you heard the fa 6-3. So remembering the difference between the 5, the do, and the 6, the re, is going to be what you're going to listen to in that. Now, one of the things I hate about Roman numerals is that it obscures that the fact that these are the same chord, just different variants. And the fa 5-3, of course, Roman numerals calls that the 4. The fa 6-3, they call the 2-6. Again, it's the same chord. They're both fa chords. They're both fas with a 3. They're 2/3 of the things are the same. It's just a difference between do, do, ti versus do, re, ti. Or put it in context. Do, mi, sol, mi, do, fa, la, do, la. Did you follow do? Just a second. I've got do, mi, sol, do, so I can hear my voice leading. Do, mi, sol, mi, do, fa, la, fa, sol, ti, re, ti, sol, do, mi, do. And you heard that do stay. Do, mi, sol, do, ti, do. Hopefully you heard that line as I was arpeggiating. Versus do, re, ti, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Fa, la, re, la, fa, sol. Oh, that wasn't right. Do, re, mi, fa, la, re, la, fa. You can hear the instability as you're skipping. There's a fourth there instead of a third. Sol, ti, re, ti, sol, do, mi, do. Or the voice leading, do, re, ti, do. All right, so let's practice hearing the difference between these things. Let's go to the inquisitive. No, we already sung that one. Here we go, inquisitive. All right, so we've got some examples here. They've got the Roman numerals. hey, translate this. Anytime you see Roman numerals, translate into what we know. That's going to be do 5-3, fa 5-3 with a do in it, sol 5-3, do 5-3. So it's a good voice leading for this one to be do, do, ti, do. All right, versus the do 5-3, fa 6-3, sol 5-3, do 5-3, which would be do, re, ti, do. Or this one, do 5-3, fa 5-3, fa 6-3, sol 5-3. You're going to hear do, do, re, ti. All right, listen for those voice leadings. Did you hear it? Do, re, ti, do. Over the good old tetractile space. Do, fa, sol, do. So with the re, that's going to be our, there we go. That's the 5-3 going to the 6-3. Do 5-3, fa 6-3, sol 5-3, do 5-3, or Roman numerals 1, 2, 6, 5, 1. All right, let's try the next one. Good. Did you hear it has the same tetractile space? Do, fa, sol, do. Listen to the top voice now. Do, do, ti, do. Okay, so that's the do on the plagal do versus the plagal re. So that's going to be our do 5-3, fa 5-3, sol 5-3, do 5-3, or 1, 4, 5, 1 in Roman numerals. All right, we've only got one left, but let's listen for it. First of all, the bass line gives it away. Do, fa, fa, sol. This is the only one that ended on sol, so it's the only one that ends on 5, so we know that already. But what we're listening for is the top voice. So what we should hear is do, do, re, ti. Do, do, re, ti. There it is, and so we know that this is this one. Good. All right, let's do one more inquisitive. This one we're going to do a bass and soprano dictation, and then recognize the chords. I like that because I like to start with my bass. No, I don't like to skip and go right to Roman numerals. Roman numerals are secondary to the bass. Harmony is all about that bass, all about the 5-3s and 6-3s. Roman numerals, I could honestly take them or leave them. You're going to transfer somewhere that has them, so you have to learn them. You have to know them. But honestly, they're kind of worthless. So let's take a listen. Let's get our bass line. Did you hear that tetractile bass a couple of times? Do, fa, sol, do, and it ended with do, fa, sol, do. All right, let's take another listen to the bass line just to get that locked in. Do, fa, sol, do, fa, sol, do. And in between the two do's, we had a do, sol, do. Just do, fa, sol, do, fa, sol, do. Really hearing that tetractile bass makes our life so much easier. All right, so do, fa, sol, do, sol, do, fa, sol, do. All right, good, excellent. You know, some of these things I can already put the Roman numerals in because right now, if we hear a do, we know it's a do 5-3, which means that it's a 1 chord. Fa, this is our tricky one. This is our new one now. We've got 2 flavors of fa. We have the fa 5-3, we have the fa 6-3. So I don't know yet if that's going to be a 4 chord or a 2-6 chord because it's a 5-3 or 6-3. Remember, both fa chords, both plagal chords, slightly different flavors. It's kind of like the difference between, you know, like vanilla ice cream and French vanilla ice cream, right? Sol. Sol 5-3 has to be a 5. Do 5-3 has to be a 1. Sol 5-3 has to be a 5. Do 5-3, that's our 1. Okay, we got the fa, so we're going to have to figure that one out. Sol at the end. Sol 5-3 is a 5. Do 5-3 is a 1. All right, so we already know all that. You know what makes the difference? Often the upper voice. Does it have a re or does it have a do? So let's listen now for our melody, and I'll bet this will help us figure out what flavors of fa there are. Did you hear all that nice stepwise melody? Dum, pum, bum, pum. mi, re, re, do, re, mi, fa, ending with re, do, mi, re, re, do, re, mi, fa, re, do. Okay, excellent, good. Hey, look at this. There was a re in the melody above that fa, so fa to re, that's the 6. It has to be the fa 6-3, which means we know that that has to be the fa 6-3. Remember, 6-3s we drop down a third to get the root of the chord, so fa down a third is re. Re is the second scale degree, that's a 2-6 chord. So our fa 6-3, 2-6. All right, fa and fa. Oh, fa and fa. That did not help me at all, the fact that the melody and the bass note are both on fa. Actually, it does help slightly, because usually a fa 6-3 would have a re in the melody. The fact that it doesn't leads me to suspect it's probably going to be a fa 5-3. But let's take a listen and find out for sure. What am I listening for? Inner voices. All right, so we're going to make up an imaginary... We're going to start this one over again, but we're going to make up an imaginary do-ti line. So do, re, I'm going to think do, re, ti, do, and then do I hear, at the end, do I hear do, do, ti, do, or do I hear do, re, ti, do in an inner voice? Do, ti, do. Yeah, I heard the do, do, ti, do. So it is, in fact, the fa 5-3 here, which fa 5-3 is fa scale degree 4, Roman numeral 4 for that one, for the 5-3 chord. There it is. So the trick then between, you know, re 5-3 and re 6-3, that's really easy to hear, because the re 6-3 is going to pass between do and mi. Re 5-3 is going to go to a sol 5-3 or to T6-3. It's going to go to an authentic chord. And then fa 5-3 and fa 6-3, that's the trick here, because they're both going to behave the same way. They're going to want to progress onto that sol 5-3. And what you're going to be listening for is you're going to be listening for, does it go do, do, ti, do, in which case it's a fa 5-3 or 4 chord. Or does it go do, re, ti, do, in which case it's the fa 6-3 or the 2-6 chord. So hopefully that helps.